The inquiry into how dog food is made is agelong. For the records, commercial canine food was not always in existence. There was a time when there was no such thing as dog food. Canine buddies in those dispensations had to cater for themselves in this regard. The emergence of commercially produced dog food has its roots in England, by an electrician around the 1860s. From that moment, dog parents have asked the question, how is dog food made? So, let's shed light on how dog food is made. First, we have a wide range of canine food classification. These classes include dry food, wet food, raw food, and commercial treats. Furthermore, some pet parents are very particular about the food intake of their canine pals. As a result, they make homemade meals. In this video, we will go through the process involved in making commercial meals. Commercial dry meals rake in more profit than any other commercial canine food. This is because they are economical and cheaper. They also hold more calories in smaller proportions than the others. As a result, many pet owners opt for kibbles. In light of this, let's start with dry dog food. How is dry dog food made? Overall, the nutrients used in these products consist of protein, vitamins, carbohydrates, and minerals. Furthermore, flavoring and fats are added at later stages of the production process. Depending on the brand, these nutrients are used in varying proportions. However, the formulas should not violate the dietary requirement of dogs. By nature, dogs need more of some nutrients to stay healthy. On the other hand, some nutrients are only needed in little proportions. Violation of these could cause complications for dogs. These complications range from indigestion to intestinal issues, and more serious complications. For instance, dogs need less amount of fat compared to cats. A feline's dietary requirement is high on fat and protein. However, their canine counterparts are not able to digest large amounts of fats very well. What are the items purchased by these commercial companies for dog food production? Firstly, the raw materials are purchased in large quantities. Considering the huge patronage, these companies purchase raw materials that fill up huge trucks daily. These materials include meats in various forms. Depending on the company, a variety of meaty alternatives used include chicken, duck, sheep, lambs, and fish. For some, a combination of 2 or more of these meaty components is used. Other raw materials purchased are grains, fats, vitamins, minerals, among others. For grains, options such as rice, barley, cereals, and corn are used. The raw materials used are to be in line with the best standard practice. The meat used should be biologically fit for the animal's consumption. For example, in some climes, the meat should not be frozen or have preservatives at that point. These purchased items are stored up in independent places. At this stage, the materials are put in the right shape. For instance, if chickens are used, the feathers are taken off. Also, chafes and other parts not needed for the process are discarded. By and large, the items are prepared for the next stage of operation. The use of these heavy-duty machines helps manufacturers produce large amounts of these products in a good time. Each production stage is an integral part of the assembly line. For instance, after the crushing stage takes effect, the ingredient mixture happens. Let's go over the production stages. 1. Crushing stage. At this point, large pieces of equipment play very important roles. Chief among these machines is the hammer mill. This machine is used to crush the raw materials into smaller and coarse forms. The process of crushing is essential in the eventual outcome of the product. By grinding the materials, the subsequent process of mixing to achieve equity in nutrients is made easy. This process allows for the fair distribution of nutrients. 2. Ingredients mixture. Here, large commercial blenders are used. At this stage, proper measurement and adherence to the nutritional formula are very important. The dry ingredients are mixed in line with the intended outcome of the product. For instance, if the product is intended to be 60% grain, the addition of grain should be in that regard. Plants' residue and items with low moisture content are the only ingredients that go through this process. The vitamins and fat, which are usually in liquid forms, are added much later. The separation of moist content for later stages is very important. This way, the watery extracts do not make the coarse form of the mixture uneven. 3. Extrusion process. This stage defines the eventual look of the product. With a particular degree of heat, the large dry mixed items are forced through something known as a die. The shape of the die is what determines the look of the product. For instance, if the product has a bone shape, that means die used was of that shape. Most commercial dog food manufacturers have various kinds of dies to produce various shapes. If you are opportune to visit the factories, you would see options like the round, bone-shaped, rectangle, and other kinds of dies. The product is formed by passing through the various dies at the right temperature, under extreme pressure. If the items need to be sliced, chopped, shaped, or further mixed, it all happens in this stage. The extrusion machine is a large barrel with a cylindrical shape. This machine consists of various parts with options of pre-cooking, cooking, mixing, forcing the items into the die, among others. Any mixture before the extrusion stage is void of moisture. However, the extrusion stage is the first contact between the dry and wet ingredients. Liquid ingredients such as vitamins and fats are added at this stage. These liquid ingredients are strategically infused into the pre-mixed content. This is to allow for even distribution on all parts of the pre-mixed content. The process is inch-perfect considering the high-quality machines used. This process is not only peculiar to dog food makers. It is replicated in a variety of human products such as chocolate bars, among others. It is one of the most important steps in the entire process. If something goes wrong at this stage, the outcome will be questionable. More so, there is one interesting observation of dogs that have affected the production of dog food using the extruder. Both canine and feline creatures may swallow small pieces of dry food without chewing properly. This can cause indigestion and other severe complications in the long run. On the other hand, there is also a problem if the meals are too big. Dogs and cats may get uninterested in the meal. This is especially if they are not very hungry. 4. Removal of heat. The use of certain degrees of heat is required with the extrusion process. However, if it remains that way, the eventual product is susceptible to mold and condensation. To avoid this, the extruded mixture is exposed to a defined amount of cooling. The cooling procedure is performed by a commercial dryer. This is usually under the watchful eye of a professional to ensure there are no lapses. The appropriate use of the dryer helps the product have the ideal look and feel. This is because the cooling process determines if the product will be too soft, moist, dry, or hard. This process is important, especially because of the liquid ingredients. The preference of the average dog is a major reason this stage is of the essence. Most dogs prefer wet and canned meals to dry products. The reason is not far-fetched. Wet and canned products have more moist content. This makes eating and chewing very easy. Also, indigestion is less likely to occur. Lastly, it is a greater deal for furry pals that consume a lot of water. Unarguably, dry products cannot contain as much moisture as wet and canned products can. However, this stage helps dry meals retain a little moisture. It also moderates the dry food's thickness under the right automated temperature. 5. Enrobing stage. This is majorly to make the product appealing. The enrobing stage is one of the profound differences between homemade dry food and commercially produced ones. At this stage, some brands add artificial coloring. Other manufacturers use refined powdery substances. 6. Bagging stage. Machine-inclined packaging is one of the features of a commercial product. That also applies to the commercial dog food industry. The creativity that comes with bagging is one of the distinguishing features of various brands. After the enrobing stage, the coated dry food products are stored temporarily in silos. This is with intent to gather them for bagging. The silos are strategically channeled to an automated bagging machine. However, before then, the machine sieves away crumbs and unequal products. This is to ensure the dry meals are even in every bag. After this is done, the kibbles are led into a machine with a sealer. In sealing the bottom, the machine puts designated measures of dry food into a paper or plastic bag. Slightly afterward, the sealer closes the top of the paper or plastic bag package. So, what is the shelf life of commercial dry food? As a result of the amount of moisture removed from the ingredients, dry food has a longer shelf life compared to other kinds of commercial options. However, there is no general span for every dry food product. The shelf life is determined by the moisture content, formulas used for the production, among others. However, on a general note, the shelf life of canine dry food is approximately between 11 to 17 months. This is where we draw the curtain on part 1 of this video. Please watch part 2 for a complete understanding of the subject. If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you'll know once we post a new video. Also, drop a comment below so we can know your thoughts. Finally, don't forget to check the description below for more details and visit our site www.zimdogfood.com for more awesome dog food content like this.